Welcome back to another episode of Amazing Kitchen. Today we're talking about an interesting topic, all about cooking oil. This is one that's searched by many and confused by a lot. So here we go. We have all the oil in front of us. Now here I am to answer some of the questions, which one you need to bake with, to deep fry it, which one is suitable for salads. So these are questions that everyone is wondering. Alright, so all the brands you see in front of me right now is just coincidental. I walk into my grocery store, I grab it, and whatever I picked up at the moment, whatever they have, that's what I left with. So it's in no way talking about these brands. So they're just used for illustration because I needed the oil in these bottles. So, okay, now that I got those clear, let's get into it. To my right, I have vegetable oil. Now, vegetable oil is very popular in Asia and around the world because it's very affordable and has no aroma when you cook into it. So it's very good for food establishment where they're cooking all sorts of food, they're catering to all types of customers. So vegetable oil is very good. But vegetable oil, a lot of people doesn't know, these are usually refined oil, which means they go through a chemical process with petroleum items like hexane, which they filter all the chemicals out of the oil, then they filter and clarify the oil to get it back into this light color. So that is something that is probably not good for you because of the chemical use. And on top of that, these plants, these vegetable plants are derived from GMO crops. Now GMO crops, as everyone knows, they use a lot of insecticide, herbicide to keep the bugs away so that the plant can grow fruitfully. Now that is another area where everyone is concerned that vegetable oil is probably not healthy for you. Even though they contain all the nutrients that everyone looking for, all the good fats, polyunsaturated, saturated fat, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, and very little saturated fat, usually none. Okay, so let's give a quick talk about the smoke point and what it's all about. So smoke point is the temperature whereby the oil, once it's heated to, begins to break down. And once it begins to break down, it releases aldehydes compound. So these are unwanted compounds. These are free radicals that is left in the oil, or it could be released in the air while you're cooking. And when inhaled, it's very bad, even in small quantity, to your health. So this is something you don't want to do. You always want to use the right oil for the right type of cooking because you don't want to overheat it. Okay, so vegetable oil, generally refined vegetable oil has a good high smoke point. So for instance, this vegetable oil right here, the smoke point is around 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we have sunflower, which is 440 for corn oil and 400 for canola oil. So canola oil requires a special mention because do you know canola oil, the name is derived from Canada. It was made in Canada in the 1950s because at the time rapeseed oil was produced, but those had high uric acid, and that is not something you want in the oil. So therefore, the Americans hired Canadians to look into it, and they came up with canola oil, which was named after Canada. So it's Canada Mazola. That's where canola came from. Okay, so this oil is, how should I say? It's a special breed plant, canola plant, that is from the rapeseed plant or modified, but is not genetically modified. So this, in the early stage, it wasn't a GMO product, but afterwards, because it's widely used and widely produced, so a lot of refined canola oil these days are using GMO canola, which is something that no one wants. So that's why canola lately has been getting a lot of bad names. People say, stay away from canola. Canola is not good for you. It's not healthy for you. It's very bad for your health. But in fact, if you get canola that is cold pressed, that is organic, in fact, canola is very good for you. It's very good for your health. It lowers your cholesterol, has a lot of vitamin E, very, very healthy. But that is probably something that is difficult to come by. Most grocery stores don't carry it because these vegetable oil are known to be very affordable. But organic, cold pressed canola oil is never the same price. So that is something maybe the general grocery stores don't carry. But if you can find it, definitely try it, and it's very nice. Yes. Okay, Now that we got those out of the way, let's go to my left. I have peanut oil, and then I have olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. Now, peanut oil is another popular one in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, where a lot of curry is being cooked, because this leaves a very nutty flavor in the food. So it's very tasty and very rich. But there are some very positive health benefits with peanut oil. It helps insulin absorption, and it also very good in cooking under high heat. It has a smoke point of 440 degrees Fahrenheit. It's quite high, so you can deep fry with it. And on top of that, it has vitamin E, and it also has high omega-6. Now, the good is about there where it stops. And then let's talk about a little bit of the negative side of peanut oil. Because of the high omega-6, it is pro-inflammatory, which means it has a chance to cause inflammation in your joints. So if you have joint pains and pain in back and shoulders, possibly peanut oil can be the culprit. So remember, next time when you're cooking with peanut oil, think of that. So if you're already ingesting a lot of omega-6, you add peanut oil to it, it just adds to it, and then you become overdosed on omega-6. That is not something you want. You want omega-3, which is good, but omega-6, not too much. Usually a 1-to-1 ratio is very good. Okay, that's it for peanut oil, and let's move on to the next one. We have olive oil right here. I have two types of olive oil. I have the extra virgin olive oil, filtered and unfiltered. Unfiltered is a little murkier. If you can see, it's not translucent like your typical olive oil, but this retains a lot more flavor. Some people don't like the intensity of flavor, so they go for the filtered one. So remove some of that olive flavor, that greenish flavor in the oil. But if you enjoy that flavor a lot, the aroma, then go for the unfiltered. It's much more richer. Now, another thing is olive oil is a very confusing topic when it comes to choosing at your grocery store, because when you look on the grocery shelf, there's extra virgin olive oil, there is regular olive oil, extra light olive oil. What does all that mean? Well, it simply means that the way they process the olive oil is different. So extra virgin olive oil is cold pressed, so it's picked, pressed, and squeezed out, and then the oil is being bottled, either filtered or non-filtered. So it doesn't require heat or any chemical process. So it's the most natural you can get it. Now, those are the best. But because of that, it has a very low smoke point, around 320 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not recommended for cooking. Maybe best for your salads or for your bread, or spread it over a dressing. That's the best use for it. And also because when you heat it, some of that aroma is lost, and you don't want that. So that's for extra virgin olive oil. But if you like the benefits and nutrients of olive oil and you want to cook with it also, then you may want to consider extra light virgin olive oil. Extra light olive oil, not virgin olive oil. Extra light olive oil is oil that has been refined to remove a lot of that olive flavor in it, and because of that, it also changes the smoke point of the oil, and it raises up to 420 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is a temperature where you can stir fry and cook and saute with. So if you plan to cook with your olive oil, try to go with a light olive oil. But of course, the light doesn't mean light flavor, it simply means it has been refined. Now, you know a little bit about your olive oil. Now think of it, what does olive oil have? Everyone say olive oil is good, it's healthy for you, it has a lot of heart healthy compounds in it. It's true. So what makes olive oil so good? Because it's high in monounsaturated fat, which is something you want. And it also has polyunsaturated fat also in it, but it's much lower content. So how do you determine what is a good olive oil? So the Olive Oil Association has a standard whereby they measure the free acid roaming in the olive oil. Now, the higher it is, the less quality the oil is. So extra virgin olive oil must be below 1% of this free acid, or else the flavor is undesired and is never going to be classified as extra virgin. Now, if you go next time shopping for your extra virgin olive oil, check the back, read the label. Usually it has a production date, expiry date, maybe even a batch number for the really nice ones. And the really good quality olive oil will even give you the percentage of free acid, oleic acid, free roaming in the olive oil. Now you want that to be less than 1%, preferably. Now, light olive oil has a percentage around 3 to 4%, which is more than you like it to be, but that's what you get when you refine it and you want the highest smoke point for the olive oil into cooking. So that's for olive oil. And olive oil has another unique property that's probably a lot of people don't know about. You just know that good olive oil has this bitterness. It even goes down a little peppery down your throat. Now that peppery sensation is caused by this compound called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal compound is believed to cause that burning sensation. But you know what is unique about this oleocanthal? It is anti-inflammatory. It also acts like a natural ibuprofen in your oil. So it reduces pain and soothes your body. It's about, I think, 1/10 of adult ibuprofen concentration. So that is very unique. It actually helps you relieve pain. It helps with the anti-inflammatory effects. Okay, so now let's move on to the next oil. We have avocado oil and coconut oil. Avocado oil is very unique. It has a lot of properties of extra virgin olive oil, but it also has a very high smoke point. The highest of all oil is about 520 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very suitable for cooking. So high heat cooking, deep frying, but a lot of people don't use it because it's quite expensive. It's very costly to buy. So a lot of people select vegetable oil as an alternative. But if you can't afford it, avocado oil is the oil to go for. You can drizzle it over your salad, you can use it as a dip, or even cook with it. So avocado has the best of both worlds, and the flavor of it is also light compared to olive oil. So it's the best oil I would recommend if you're planning to cook and also drizzle with it. Avocado oil also is high in potassium. It has a lot of polyphenol, antioxidant, and is also anti-inflammatory. So it's also very good for vegan and paleo diet people who is looking for alternatives in oil where they can cook healthy and also meet their demand in their food requirement. So avocado oil is a very good choice. Now that is something you should look into. Then we move on to our coconut oil. Our coconut oil has a high smoke point. It's 350 to 450 degrees depending if it's refined or unrefined. So 350 is not exactly high. So oil like that, you want to save it for dressings and simply spreading over your bread instead of using butter. Now that is very tasty. But if you don't like the coconut flavor, that's when you can go for the refined version. And it increases the smoke point to 450 degrees, which is suitable for high heat cooking. So, I mean, coconut oil is also very versatile. It's very healthy, but a lot of people talks about the high saturated fat content in the oil that is not desired because it's not so good for your heart. But think of it, this is a natural occurring saturated fat that the body recognizes easily. So it can deal with that with not many problems. And also, oil with high saturated fat content is more stable under cooking heat. So even when it reaches its smoke point, the amount of free radicals that's released in the oil and in the air is a lot less. It's almost very stable for high heat cooking. That's why it's most ideal for deep frying where high heat is used. So that's why lard in traditional sense is also high in saturated fat. It's also a very good oil to deep fry in. I mean, lard was used in the 60s and 70s, which everyone was cooking in it, but heart disease was not so prominent then. I mean, now everyone in America is talking about heart disease, heart problems. I mean, but more vegetable oil and better oil is being used today than ever. But why? Why is this so? I mean, is it a contributing factor from the oil? Is it the saturated fat? I don't know. Again, coconut oil is very good for you because it's anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and it has lauric acid in it. Now, what is lauric acid? It is also found in breast milk. And on top of that, because of the high saturated fat content, it's usually solid at room temperature. And on top of that, it's good for your hair, good as a moisturizer on your skin. So it has a lot of good benefits in it also. But of course, if you can handle the coconut flavor in the oil, some people don't like it, so they avoid it. So that's fine. I mean, it's no problem. There's one more contender to this list I'd like to add to it. This is not exactly an oil, but it's a high fat content that we cook with all the time. It's butter. Now, butter is something that everyone shy away from because they say of the high saturated fat content in this that is not good and it has cholesterol, so it's bad for you. Actually, in small quantity, this is not so bad because it's derived from animal milk, which is cow's milk, and then it has been siphoned off. So butter is actually 80% fat and 20% water, and it has a lot of vitamins in it. It has vitamin A, D, E, K2, B12, so it's very good for your body in fat. So a little bit of it adds a lot of flavor in your cooking, and also not to overdose in this, then it's actually not so bad. Butter actually has 25% monounsaturated fat and only 2.3% polyunsaturated. That's where a lot of the omega-6 comes from. Oil that has high polyunsaturated concentration is also very unstable under high heat cooking. So once it reaches smoke point, it breaks down very quickly and releases a lot of free radicals and compounds that is not desired that may cause cancer and health problems. So next time when you're cooking under high heat, like stir fry or maybe deep frying, stay away from high polyunsaturated fat oils. Another thing I like to talk about is oxidation. Oxidation of oil. In fact, oxidation happens the moment the oil is exposed to oxygen and light. But I mean, the process is slower. So when you heat it, once it reaches its smoke point, the oxidation happens even quicker, and then it begins to break down and the oil is no longer good. So you always hear where people say not to reuse old oil because some oil breaks down faster than the other. Coconut oil or lard is very suitable for high heat cooking, and that is very stable under high heat. So next time when you're cooking, select your oil carefully so that you will not run into health issues. So you can also add to your cooking and flavor with the type of oil that you use. Alright, so that is it for now. Or make sure you store your oil in a cool area that is away from light, because light will tend to break down the oil quicker. So that's why you see the vegetable oil, these are refined, so they're quite stable now. That's why generally they come in a lighter, clear container. Olive oil and avocado oil, even coconut oil, these are generally natural, unrefined. So here you go. They generally come in a darker container because they need to filter out some of that UV, some of that light to keep it dark so that the oil can break down slower. Alright, so remember to store your oil in a darker spot, in a cool spot, away from light or direct source of light, and you're in good hands. Thanks for watching. I hope I've answered all your questions regarding cooking oil and how to use them and what are the benefits and cons of the type of cooking oil that you're using. So next time when you're going to a grocery store, now you're better equipped with selecting the oil that you need for your dish. Alright, if you like what you see today, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and if you have already, then comment below and let us know what you think. And if you have any suggestion for future episode, make sure you put that in the comment. Okay, check out our playlist, especially our kitchen tour series. Okay, bye now.